Welcome to Linda Tellington-Jones's 6th book club. And we were just going over our list of all the amazing books that we've done. But today we're going to be reading Kahlil Gibran's The Prophet. And Linda, just for a moment, I would like to go over, for people who are watching this, the books that we have gone over. So what was our first book?
Oh, I think the first book must have been Oxytocin, wasn't it?
No, it was One Mind, I think. Oh, The Placebo. I think it was The Placebo.
You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
So we've done You're the Placebo, and then we did Oxytocin, which I thought was the first one, but we did Oxytocin.
By Dr. Stoller.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think we did Ho'oponopono by Ulrich Dupre, right? Which was a wonderful, wonderful book. And then One Mind by Larry Dossey, Dr. Larry Dossey. And then Dr. Alan Schoen's The Compassionate Equestrian was the last one.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And that's been a couple of months. So this month, like I said, we're doing Kahlil Gibran. Do you call him Gibran?
Gibran, I believe.
Gibran, The Prophet. And so I'm asking everybody, if you feel like you're going to have sound, including myself, please mute yourself so we can have the recording for the future for people to be able to hear. And Linda, this was not an easy book, so welcome and talk to us about this.
Well, the reason that I chose this book is we're in challenging times. And many of us, depending upon, what what's going on? There's some sound behind
Okay,
us.
so everybody, hold on. I'd like...
Wait.
On board for gate C46. Mesdames et messieurs, ceci est le dernier appel pour le...
Sally, it's you. It's the airline.
I'm on mute.
We can
Am
hear you.
Oh, I'll mute
Am I
you,
muted?
Sally, I'll mute
Mute me. Thank you.
There we go. All right. Okay, so sorry about that. Talk to us about this, please.
So the reason that I chose this, we're in challenging times. There's a great deal of concern about the political situation, and we all know that it's still not easy in terms of economics.
Linda, hold on 1 second. It looks like Eileen cannot hear us. I apologize. Eileen, you can't hear us? Okay, call in on your phone. Can you call in on your phone? Eileen, use your phone and call us. Okay, Linda, I'm going to chat with her privately. Please continue. I apologize.
Okay, is it Bucky Rita?
Yes, Eileen Bucky Rita.
Fantastic. Say hi. So the reason that I chose this book, I find that I've spoken with many, many people over many years who've found that this book has been like one of the milestones in their lives. It's been a lifesaver in situations that were really challenging. And so I thought it was just useful to look at it at this time. I wanted to share my experience, my story, because this book has shaped my life. I think it was 1964. I was sitting at midnight in my kitchen, boo-hooing and feeling sorry for myself because my husband was sleeping with another woman. And I thought, first I was distraught, and then I thought, wait a minute, I need help. And I've always turned to books for help. And so I went to our bookshelf and I just reached up and sort of put my hand up there to see what would touch, and I pulled down The Prophet, and I simply opened it. And the chapter that opened was the chapter on sorrow and joy. And it's not exactly the same words, but the words that I lived with all these years were the self-same well from which your sorrows flow. shall also flow your joy. And when I read that, what it just came over me, this feeling, okay, come on, tears, because someday this well will be so deep and it will be filled with joy. And that's what's happened in my lifetime. And I think I bring this up because people look at my life, and I have such a blessed life. And they, you just think, oh, well, it's easy. It's not always been easy. And in the same bookshelf, another book that shaped me during those same difficult, challenging times. And I have to say, I would not trade them for anything, because I learned to let go of jealousy and to appreciate in a whole different way without being a victim. And that's thanks to this book, The Prophet. But another book that was very close by in that bookshelf was a book by Ouspensky. And again, it's one sentence that again shaped my life, and that is, it is necessary to go through the crystallization of fire in order to hone the soul. And what I saw was this chipping away, so that lessons that I was learning, that I was looking at, instead of running away from them, the situation, I found ways of opening my heart. And today, what I think is a huge help, and that is the book Ho'oponopono by Ulrich Dupre. It's something that is a book that will shape our lives. And this book on the Prophet, that's the one that I had, the same cover that I had all those years. That book is another book that we can reach to in times of need. And it's the wonderful chapter on marriage, the chapter on children. Those are the ones that stand out for me. So what I thought is, and we sent this out yesterday, I don't know if everyone listening got it, this idea that maybe you just either you have a story, because we'd like to hear from each person, and it's lovely that we have only a few, so we have this really tight little circle that we can share, and perhaps by posting this, maybe it will give someone else respite or inspiration in these times, in their time. So Elinor, we suggested you just open the book and pick a sentence. And I loved what you did when we practiced this yesterday. How you actually read the sentence was quite unique, as you are.
So I just opened up the book, and I pulled up, and I just opened it again, and it just went to the same page. So I find that interesting, to the same one. And it says on page 3, much have we loved you, but speechless was our love, and with veils has it been veiled. In other words, how often do we say we love you, but it's veiled under so many other layers of other things, that the actual real love is being cloaked, or it's got these silky veils, these other kind of visually sexy veils, but not what's really showing underneath. And I thought that's so interesting. So I had to read it again when I opened it, and it's like, much have we loved you, but speechless was our love, and with veils has it been veiled. And that, to me, I mean, it's like, that's also a statement of the time, because it doesn't have to be a love between a person and a person, but it's between a person and humanity, between humanity back to us, with us within the world. So to me, my mind goes in all of those directions. Does that make any sense to anybody else?
Let's unmute them and see what they...
Yes, you unmute yourselves, please, please. Oh, Sally, I will unmute you. Got you.
Yes, the plane departed.
Okay, you ready? I came up with another sentence. And what is it to work with love? Wow. And Linda and I talked about that yesterday, because Moshe Feldenkrais always said, if you love what you're doing, you can do what you love. And as my father used to say, even the garbage man who picks up the garbage, when he takes pride in what he does it well. And I appreciate him so much. We don't put a label on somebody for what they do, but what they do, that they put their time and their love into it, it makes a difference for everybody. So then what is love?
So, comment?
I have a comment. I think that when you do something you love, yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
I think that when you love yourself and have compassion for yourself, that you're able to love nearly everything you do, because you see, no matter situations trying or not, you see the good in it and you see the lesson in it, and so you can carry on.
Wow. You know, Sally, that reminds me of a statement that you made, either the last book, yeah, might have been the last book club on compassion. Compassion,
Yes.
right? So that reminds me of that statement about even people who have been interviewed that had cancer, really horrible cancers, not that any cancer is not a horrible cancer, but you made a statement about
They were all glad they had it. They wouldn't give it up.
that they learned something, which is like, right? So they got something from it. It did something that made a change in them. And it's no different than Linda was saying, is that you wouldn't give back those moments in your life to do it I mean, that it would not have happened, because those are the pieces that grew you.
Right. That's how you found out who you are.
And this will be our final boarding call for Air Canada Flight 152 with service to Toronto.
She figured out how to mute herself.
So, would Bonnie, Lulu, one of you would like to choose it? Do you have what's that's still going on, right?
No, it's gone. She's muted.
Oh, okay. So, do you have part of this book that spoke to you, or would you like to simply open and see?
Uh-oh, you're talking to Cindy Lou. She walked away.
Okay. Well, we've got Bonnie is here. Ava.
I don't have a book with me.
Oh, darn.
I have on eating and drinking, and what I liked was at the bottom of the first page, and when you crush an apple with your teeth, say to it in your heart, your seeds shall live in my body. And after our whole Tea Touch weekend, where we exchanged so many ideas about the heart, and we talked about heart math so much, that and I read this twice. I read through it once, and like you said, Linda, it was like, well, okay, what did I just read? I have no idea. And then I went back and looked at each chapter, but that really spoke to me. And then it says, and the buds of your tomorrow shall blossom in my heart, and your fragrance shall be my breath, and together we shall rejoice through all the seasons. So all of, again, what we did this weekend, kind of those few sentences made a lot of sense to me, because of how enhanced it all was about all we did about coming from the heart and heart math, and using the M wave in this clinic that had the most amazing people together that we've ever had.
I agree.
Could you just read that slowly again, because it's the feeling of it, you know, the feeling of the biting into it, and the enjoyment of it, and the deep appreciation with which I can feel as you read that first.
Yes. And when you crush an apple with your teeth, say to it in your heart, your seeds shall live in my body.
Beautiful.
You know, that's being in the moment of eating an apple. You don't just throw it in your mouth and chew it up and swallow it and say, oh, that was good. You enjoy every single bite and honor the fact that you are eating the apple, and it can grow and blossom within you because you ate it so mindfully.
And look back to the tree and give thanks to the tree.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. And why am I dinging? Sorry.
And you're barking too.
Yeah.
There we go.
He's calling someone.
It's Mo.
This is
Okay.
Renee, and I had a part about the children, the chapter with the children, that really spoke to me right now. I have two daughters that are college age and going off and getting used to the idea that my kids are going. So that one really talked to me, how with children, they are sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And although they're with you, yet they belong not to you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. And you may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. And then it goes on to, you may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. So that part really got to me, kind of getting my head together, the idea that my girls are people of the future, and that you got to let them go. So I really, really did like that chapter a lot. So that meant something to me quite a bit.
That, to me, it's one of the outstanding, even though I don't have children, it touched me very deeply because it must be such a profound statement for those who are at that stage when they're flying from the nest.
Yeah, it is. It was really a good one. I've read it over numerous times, so thank you for bringing the book to me.
That one particularly speaks to me as well because I have two sons, and we do get to a place, as Elinor must know, where we let them go, we launch them. We hope we've given them at least some of the skills that they'll need in life. But we just have to let them go and be okay with that.
Is this Bonnie? Was that Bonnie?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. I couldn't hear your voice. Interesting. Wonderful. How old are you now?
30 and 36.
Hi guys, it's Vanessa. I just joined.
Oh,
Hi,
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Hi. Wow, Vanessa from Texas. Beautiful.
Yes.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
Lindsay.
Hi.
Hey.
Recognize voices.
Very nice. So did you, how was the book for you? Did you find any particular part that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I was listening. I ordered the book and I was reading the book. And then I was listening to the rest of it today on Audible, and I really enjoyed the Audible because it allowed me to really get some more read and listened to. And the joy and the sorrow was amazing. The freedom one really hit home on me, I thought. I thought that was really touching.
Do you have
How
the
you
book?
can let, I do have the book. I do.
On freedom, where was that?
Chapter 14.
Oh, chapter
Yes.
14, thank you.
What page?
Oh, I don't know. I'm on my Kindle.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting my book right now.
Okay.
I tried to get my Zoom set up. It didn't quite work.
Oh, page 20. Page 20, Linda.
Got it.
And welcome to somebody from 919 who just joined us.
Who just chimed in.
Hello.
It's not 20 on my book. Let me see. Must depend.
Huh. Well, that's okay. Vanessa, can you read it to us again?
Sure. On freedom,
Yeah.
it said, and an orator said, speak to us of freedom. And he answered, at the city gate and by your fireside, I have seen you prostrate yourself and worship your own freedom. Are y'all with me?
Yes.
We're with you. Go on.
Even as slaves humble themselves before a tyrant and praise him, though he slays them. In the grove of the temple and in the shadow of the citadel, I have seen the freest among you wear their freedom as a yoke and a handcuff.
Wow.
And my heart bled within me, for you can only be free when even the desire of seeking freedom becomes a harness to you. And when you cease to speak of freedom as a goal and a fulfillment. You shall be free indeed when your days are not without a care, nor your nights without a want and a grief, but rather when these things girdle your life and yet you rise above them, naked and unbound. What does that bring up for you?
What I got from it was your desire for freedom from things, from what you think are entrapping you, can be a yoke in itself. I mean, can hold you back in itself. It's when you just rise above it and realize that you are free to make your own choices. And that's where it was getting me, is that craving freedom from different things, like from work or from relationships or something, can be a burden in itself, a chain.
Like he says. Any thoughts on that from any of you?
Well, it's interesting because to me it goes back to what you had stated for yourself in the beginning of today about it's a sign of the times. Right? It's a sign of the times in the way that, where is that part where that even as slaves humble themselves before a tyrant and praise him, though he slays them, you know, and you think of what happens all around the world, anywhere, at any time, people who have a leader and he is the leader of where they are, and yet they're still being slayed in the name of whatever is happening, variations of that. That way. Yeah.
Hello.
Who is it? I have a book called The Wisdom of Gibran that someone gave me. I couldn't find my prophet book.
Is somebody talking? Your voice went down.
Yes, I can
It's
see
me.
It's Lulu.
It's me.
Oh, maybe.
Hello.
Yeah, speak towards the mic.
Okay. I said someone gave me The Wisdom of Gibran. It's not the prophet, but it's a lot of like a dictionary. And it's under freedom, and in talking about what's going on today, in today's times, under freedom, he says, dying for freedom is nobler than living in the shadow of weak submission. For he who embraces death with the sword of truth in his hand will eternalize with the eternity of truth. For life is weaker than death, and death is weaker than truth.
Wow. Life is weaker than death.
Say it again.
The whole thing?
No, that life is.
Life is.
Life is weaker than death, and death is weaker than truth. So to me, this is like.
You had 3 statements, though. Cindy Lou, you said 3 statements. There were 3, right?
He who embraces death with the sword.
Nope.
Is that one of them?
One is greater than the other is greater than the other, and the other is greater than the other?
With the eternity of truth. What is it? Well, you kind of have to say the whole sentence.
Come closer to your mic, please.
Do what?
Yeah, come closer to your mic so we can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, because you're muffled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dying for this is like what's going on today to me in a way.
Yeah.
And not in a good way particularly, but seems to me what's happening. Dying for freedom is nobler than living in the shadow of weak submission. For he who embraces death with the sword of truth in his hand will eternalize with the eternity of truth. For life is weaker than death, and death is weaker than truth.
Can you talk to the first part of that? Can you what you feel like, what that reminds you of, where that takes you, the first part of the sentence?
The dying for freedom. It seems to me that anyone who goes to war.
Come closer.
I can't.
Sorry.
I can't get any closer. It seems that anyone who goes to war for their truth, that's what it seems to me. And but your truth may not be their truth. That's where my confusion comes in these days. You know, people are dying by the sword, with the sword. They're going to war for truth, their truth, but their truth may not necessarily be your truth. So I have trouble with that a little bit. Maybe I'm putting the wrong emphasis on it. Maybe I'm not looking at it correctly. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think we're in really.
But there is an ultimate truth. So it's not my truth or your truth. There's an ultimate truth. Like, you know, kindness and love has a truth to it. So if you're going to war out of hatred, then no matter what you believe that's about, it's not a truth. It's not the truth.
For freedom, their freedom, that's what they're going to war for, is their freedom for their.
Even so, if you're doing it out of hatred, it gets back to Ho'oponopono. If you're doing it out of hatred or making other people others and people that you want to overcome, then it's not a truth. It's not a real truth.
Yeah,
a universal truth.
I was just saying it was confusing to me.
Oh, no.
I think it is confusing because there are what we see in the refugee situation, because Roland and I were there during when you had thousands of people sleeping on the streets in front of these, you know, wonderful luxury stores in Salzburg, for instance, in Austria. And many of these people who came, I mean, they were people who had a home, they had work, they had a life, and suddenly they have nothing. And so I think it's a complex situation. That's what I got out of this. It's easy to have these sayings and these, I don't know what you call these thoughts, but then the truth behind it may be so much more complex than we recognize.
Mm-hmm.
I see Miss Pam is here. Are you with us, Pam Wanveer?
Finally, yes, I am.
Hi. Did any of what from the book spoke to you?
Wow, this was like going back in a trip in time for me. I got this book in 70s, maybe. Wow. And I hadn't opened it, but I went right up on my bookshelf, put my hand on it, and pulled it out, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Wow.
So I'm probably going to read it a few times more because this was a kind of a formative book in some ways for me. I don't know quite what to say. It's very profound. I mean, I didn't get to read the whole thing because I only ripped it off the shelf yesterday. And it was like he didn't, at the very beginning, it seems like he's not, he's just this guy looking out for the boat to go back to his homeland. And then the next thing they're all asking him, and he's saying all these profound things to him, like he's just this guy and all of it. But I don't know if he knew that they thought this much of him, or, it was almost like that each of us has something profound to say if we, we just, bring it in and say it. I don't know. That's kind of where I was at reading it last night, that he was just this guy looking to go back home, and then he comes down and they're all asking him for his truths or his wisdom or his comments on life or these different subjects. And I don't know. That's where I was last night when I was reading it, that how many of us have profound things to say, but we never say them because maybe we're never asked. I mean, we just live our lives. We're getting dinner. We're,
Zone 1 and Zone 2.
What?
It's the airport. Sally's in an airport.
Oh, okay. So what? So anyway, those were the thoughts that I was that were running through my mind last night while I was reading it.
Well, and the farewell too, I thought was interesting. When Alamitra, the seerist, said, "Blessed be this day and this place, and your spirit that has spoken." And he answered, "Was it I who spoke? Was I not also a listener?"
Okay, I didn't get that far. I didn't remember that part. But see, there you go.
Yeah.
We all channels.
It was like, he was like channeling his divine.
Well, that was my question about it, and I meant today to Google again and find out how many books that he has sold, how many copies. It's just unbelievable. I believe it's
really
over 50. Maybe somebody can jump on there, Google, and look. Over 50 languages, it seems to me, and it's been in print. The Prophet has been in print since 1923, as I remember.
Yeah.
23 or 32.
Yeah.
And never out of print, never out of print. Isn't that
That's
just
amazing?
And so that's a good thought, Pam. I also read it because when I first read it, I didn't begin at the beginning. I simply opened the book to find that chapter that shaped my life in that one page. And so when I went back,
that was beautiful too.
Yeah. I mean, it seriously has kept me in some really difficult times, always thinking, wow, this is a part. And it's especially interesting combined with that statement by Ouspensky that it's necessary to go through the crystallization of fire. So that crystallization of fire in order to hone the soul, this idea of chipping away on this beautiful, on this sculpture that is our soul. And then combining it with digging the well. I had that image of digging the well deeper with tears and sorrow. with the understanding that this is part of what's necessary for me to really come to a place of deep appreciation and enrichment. And I want to throw something in here that's really interesting. It's not really related to this book, but it's related to the way all of us, I believe, are with animals. And that I was looking for a definition of respect, because looking at animals and at people and at ourselves. But I was with Frédéric Pignon last month in France, and I was looking to describe the remarkable communication that he has with horses, and the conscious way that he uses his body, his mind, his ability to connect and communicate with them, and with the respect with which he does that. So I wanted to find another definition of respect, because all these years I've been using a simple definition based on from the root word of introspect, or to inspect, or to see. And what I found was the definition from 1560, and I have to find out from what that is, because that's all Google said is just from 1560, is that it's to see with esteem. And I think one of this things that this book does, that the prophet does, is to actually be able to relate to all we do with esteem or with reverence. It was with reverence or with esteem. And Ava, that beautiful quote that you had about, biting into the apple, if we would see with reverence or esteem, that act of biting into the apple. And I believe that's what this book does for me, even though there are parts, I have to read it over and over, and I don't really get it, but it takes me to a place of seeing this book and Kahlil Gibran and what he's brought to the world with esteem and reverence.
Linda, with that being said, it makes me want to delve into this in a more, even more juicily. And I would love it, like we had talked about, if we can just go through the group and everyone who's got the book or their iPad or their reader, just open it up to a thing. Just open up a page, take your eye directly to a spot, and just read that spot. And when you read that spot to us, you may need to, after you read it, go back up a sentence to get even more clarity. I found for me, ironically enough, if I read it backwards, I read it better. And it's not because I read Hebrew right to left, but I would read a sentence. I would start in the middle and just read a sentence. And I'm like, oh, that is so good. I wonder what he meant. And I went up a sentence and it made more sense to me. When I started from the top and read down, it got too much for me and I couldn't follow it. So sometimes. So I would love if we can just play with it where we just start. Cindy Lou, did you say that you've got the book? You have the book with you? You do have the book. Okay.
No, I have the wisdom of Gibran. It's the wisdom of
Good
Gibran.
enough. That's right. Good. So would you be willing to start, since I see you in the top left, and just open up your book to a statement, and then we can talk, and then we can maybe just 2-3 minutes per person, because it's 20 minutes before the hour. I would, if we can play with it that way.
Okay.
Sounds cool.
Good.
Kin, K-I-N, kin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. He who understands you is greater kin to you than your own brother. For even your own kindred may neither understand you nor know your true worth.
There you go.
I'm speechless.
But isn't that true, though? All of our sisters
Yes.
here? on this page. I feel like
Mhm.
it's more my family sometimes than my family.
Mhm.
I think
Kindred spirit, I guess that's where that word comes from.
Wow, in kindred spirits, yes.
Mhm.
Whew.
so. Who's next up there?
I'll go. It's on giving. You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself. And that, I think, is so profound. And I'm referring to this weekend where everybody just gave of themselves. It had nothing to do with possessions. It was all these people that were so willing to share and give everything that they could give of themselves to this group and to the horses. And to read it in the
Wow.
book, that makes the weekend even more profound, if it could possibly be. And I wish you all could have been there to appreciate the full impact of these people. But this sentence does really capsulize it when it says give yourself, because everybody gave of themselves.
Thank you.
That's nice.
Beautiful.
And I could add, when you part from your friend, you grieve not. For that which you love most in him may be clear in his absence, as the mountain to the climber is clear from the plain.
Ooh,
Wow. Can you say that? Can you
like that one.
read each one of these read twice? I'm sorry. Can you
Okay.
read it again?
When you part from your friend, you grieve not. For that which you love most in him may be clear in his absence, as the mountain to the climber is clear from the plain.
Ooh,
It's about appreciation,
Oh,
that's
recognition,
nice.
acknowledgement, without grief.
Mm. Well, I opened to one that says, only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountain top, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, you shall truly dance.
Love that one. Can you repeat it, please?
Sure, it's only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance.
Which chapter was that in? What was the heading?
That was on death.
On death. I love that. The concept of the silence of the
Yes, exactly. I like that too.
and the song.
well, yesterday I opened up one that I like. It's a little bit long. It's like little 5 little lines. It's on pleasure. Go to your fields and your gardens, and you shall learn that it is the pleasure of the bee to gather honey of the flower. But it is also the pleasure of the flower to yield its honey to the bee. For to the bee, a flower is a fountain of life, and to the flower, a bee is a messenger of love. And to both bee and flower, the giving and the receiving of pleasure is a need and an ecstasy.
Yes, thrilling.
That was so beautiful, because I just came back from Yellowstone National Park, and in the Grand Tetons and all these open meadows, that there were times that wherever there were purple flowers, there were yellow flowers. And I would say to my husband, Who knew that godliness in nature knew the exact colors, the color wheel of the opposite complementary colors? But then you could see the blood going from flower to flower to flower, and the pollinating. And it is, I didn't think of what joy does that give to the flower, which is different than the joy that it gives to the bee. And then what happens between the two, that they dance together in that it's an acting between the two that happens. That in nature.
A reciprocity.
So beautiful.
Yes.
Does anybody else have one?
Yeah, this is Renee, and I have one on teaching. I just opened, I had pulled one up, and it was the same one somebody else had, so I went looking again. This is on teaching, and it says, no man can reveal to you aught but that which already lies half asleep in the dawning of our knowledge. The teacher who walks in the shadow of the temple among his followers gives not of his wisdom, but rather of his faith and his loveliness. If he is indeed wise, he does not bid you enter the house of wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your own mind. And I really like that as kind of an educator, in that you don't want to put facts into people's brains. You want to put the ideas there that give them the ability to put the two things together and come up with the knowledge, and then they'll remember it. So I kind of...
And that's so beautiful in terms of taking that from the past and the new concept of teaching, teaching with the, rather than being the sage on the stage, be the guide by the side. And that fits so, I think, perfectly with that.
Yeah, that's...
And perhaps I'll jump in, because what you just said, Linda, fits with probably my most favorite of the entire book. And it's this: you talk when you cease to be at peace with your thoughts, and when you can no longer dwell in the solitude of your heart, you live in your lips, and sound is a diversion and a pastime.
Oh my gosh.
Where was that?
It's on talking.
Can you repeat it?
Yes. You talk when you cease to be at peace with your thoughts, and when you can no longer dwell in the solitude of your heart, you live in your lips, and sound is a diversion and a pastime.
Wow. That's fabulous. And the second time, it's even more profound than the first time. It goes deeper. It's like,
yeah. Wow. Because that gets me thinking, is, you know, that saying about I say and I do, but you know what I mean? The one where what I say isn't what I do, but what I do is what I mean, or something like that, because doing is an action, saying isn't always an action, right?
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Bonnie, are you still with us?
Who?
Bonnie?
Maybe she's not still with us.
Okay. Linda, so we have a few minutes left. Is there another one that catches your attention?
Well, let me see. I was we didn't do friendship, did we?
No.
No. Well, Lindsay said one on friendship, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that one.
Oh, right. For which you love most in him may be clear in his absence, as the mountain to the climber and is clear from the plain.
Right. And the beginning of it is really interesting. Your friend is your needs answered. He is your field from which you sow with love and reap with thanksgiving.
Wow.
And he is your Lord and your fireside, where you come to him with your hunger and you seek him for peace.
Resonance.
That's nice.
Oh, and the one about friendship, I don't know if it was friendship, but whether you're maybe your kin aren't your soul people or your friends. You know, your people who are closest to you may not be your kin per se. Who read that one? Somebody read that one.
Right, and this one is so interesting. It goes on to say, for without words in friendship, all thoughts, all desires, all expectations are born and shared with joy that is unacclaimed. And then it goes on about parting from your friend. And there's another part of it that we didn't get to. This is what I can't get over, is how many rich segments there are in pages. So, and let your best be for your friend. If he must know the ebb of your tide, let him know its flood also. For what is your friend that you should seek him with hours to kill? Seek him always with hours to live. For it is his to fill your need, but not your emptiness. And in the sweetness of friendship, let there be laughter and sharing of pleasures. For in the dew of little things, the heart finds its morning and is refreshed. I mean, isn't that just a friendship?
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
Right at the beginning, it says, your friend is your needs answered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is about resonance. When you resonate with someone,
Yes.
they're able to do those things for you and you for them.
And in the listening, in the deep listening.
Yeah.
That's what we do for each other now. Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. So we have 5 minutes left. And I would like for us to just discuss a little bit about the next book, and then we could come back and finish this, if that's okay, or we can discuss the next book. Oh, Linda, we didn't pick a date.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have my calendar in front of me.
But Lisa, did you just pop on? I just saw Lisa. I didn't see her.
Me?
Yes.
I've been here for a while. I was late.
Oh, well, lovely to see you. Did you
Good to
have
see you.
any part that attracted you?
I liked the first part. I thought it was so interesting. You talk about how you go to books and you pick them up and you always seem to find the right passage. And mine is kind of long, but I'll try it anyways. Long were the days of pain I have spent within its walls, and long were the nights of aloneness, and who can depart from his pain and aloneness without regret? Too many fragments of the spirit I have scattered in these streets, and too many are the children of my longings that walk naked among these hills, and I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. It is not a garment I cast off this day, but a skin that I tear with my own hands. Nor is it a thought I leave behind me, but a heart made sweet with hunger and thirst. So it's really interesting. It's the part on coming of the ship, leaving things behind, and even if they're unperfect, they have their purpose. And the one on pain was pretty good too, about how let me jump to that one. basically kind of the silver lining approach to life.
Yes, I like that one too.
On the pain one, I can't, it's not flipping in front of me, but basically it says that pain must be suffered so that, like the shell of a fruit, the heart can be exposed.
Whoa.
Which is nice as well.
Fascinating.
And then it goes on to kind of reconcile how you can balance pain and joy in a way so that the pain is lessened and things are balanced.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on at the last. So I have, Elinor, I'm going to make a suggestion for a date, and then we have to balance it with you. How would either the 20th or 21st, that's a month from now, or 22nd, would that fit you?
That's a Wednesday and Thursday.
Or Friday, either one.
Or Friday, yeah.
Can I just check my other calendar? One sec. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Which book are you thinking about, Linda?
Well, I was thinking about the book that we just put on Kindle. It's only a Kindle book, and it's not a very long book, but it's, I'm so excited about it. It's called Six Macaques, a story of transformation from lab primates to animal ambassadors. And it's a story of how we, I took 6 pigtailed macaques from Hunter College. They were going to be sold for biomedical research. And one of the PhD candidates whom I'd met at the Washington, D.C. National Zoo a couple of months before called me and asked me if I would consider seeing if they would release them to me for rehab instead of selling for research. And because they'd been for 16 years, they'd been in psychological research at Hunter College, and they'd lost their funding. And so I had to go and meet with the vets at Sloan Kettering under the streets of New York City. There are 2,000 animals for cancer research. And so I went and met with them, and it was a very remarkable time, which I write about in this book. And I can, actually talk more about that. But we took them to our place, and I have to tell you, this is an absolutely magical happening, because I've been attempting with Sally and at the lunch breaks at our companion animal class in Rockville. I was trying, and Pam, I was trying to get this up, and it just on the 21st, on the summer solstice, I was sitting with Denise Lynch, who is the first person in the book. Her picture and her 1-year-old son is the way it's in the book. And I actually greeted those macaques, 2 of them, with her 1-year-old son. And they said they could never be put together. And him being in the room and us sitting with them, the 2 came out of their carriers, looked at each other, looked at him, were really curious, looked at his camera that he had there, and went over and stood up on the bale of hay and watched the sunset, for the first sunset that they had seen in 16 years. And I mean, I almost thinking about it, it touched us so deeply. And then the 2 of them turned together. They'd never been together. In 16 years, they were in these tiny wire cages and couldn't see each other with no,
Linda.
What happened?
What did happen?
Well,
we lost her?
she froze in moment in time. we might lose her, and I apologize. It is 6 o'clock, or a couple minutes after 6. I thought if I talk long enough, she'll get back on. But
Well, I have to say, I was so fortunate to be in the office during that time.
As was I.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
I tell you.
Wow.
Now, not the whole
Yeah.
time, but in and out, and I love them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
amazing.
That's cool, Cindy Lou. Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
wonderful.
So
And
what
Miss
is the name of that again? The book? What was the name of that?
6 macaques, and then from something to animal ambassadors, from
There was an
research
email today.
something. Yeah. But six macaques will bring it up.
Here, we can go to
Okay.
Amazon and
Yeah.
you'll see.
But it's only on Kindle.
Yep,
Right.
it's on Kindle and
Okay.
it's like $5. 6
Okay.
MACQUES. There, wait a minute.
MACQ. Yeah.
MACAQUES, and here it is. I'm gonna hit screen share. Because I always do when I'm screen sharing. There we go. So here it is. Check this out. Okay.
Okay.
There it is. The story of 6 pigtailed macaques who were released by the Hunter College Psychology Department in New York City in the care of Linda Tellington-Jones for potential rehabilitation. And you can see if you have Kindle Unlimited, which I don't, that's like $9.99 a month, then you get it for free. But regular Kindle, it's $4.99.
Oh, there's little Gaia. Oh.
Elinor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey.
Can you believe I lost my connection just at that last minute? I'm phoning in.
Oh, you're phoning in. That's where you are. Okay. So I have 6 macaques, a story of transformation from the lab primates to animal ambassadors up on the screen for everybody to see.
Oh, good.
And see, you can see through these pages and even the drawings show up. Isn't this wonderful? So here are all the chapters. I don't know how many pages it is just because I'm curious, but
It's a short book.
Great. So there, I'm unsharing. So there's Linda. So that's going to be our next book. And Linda, you suggested the 20th or 21st. I can do the 21st. If you would like to do it in the, could we do 5 o'clock in the afternoon again, or would that not work?
Well, it works for me. What about everyone else? Is that?
It helps me. I like
It's a good time.
Okay, because we get the West Coast and the East Coast.
Linda,
Yeah.
do we think it would be possible to have Carol at that time?
Well, we can only ask her.
Okay.
Wonderful, of course. That
Yeah.
was the idea, but hopefully we can.
Okay.
And I put 6 macaques.
Because it would be so wonderful. You know, if there was a way that I could find out where these videos are, because we have short videos of the macaques we could add to this, Elinor?
Okay, wow, fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes, are you kidding? I'm just writing this on here. Hold on. Let me just put this on here.
Would that be a question for Carol?
Well, I know they're here. I will talk to her.
Oh, they're there. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. There. Okay, so I just put it on my calendar. Do you have it all on your calendar? 5 p.m. Pacific Standard, 8 p.m. Right? 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and all the others.
And which date again? I just got my calendar up again.
Good. Thursday, July 21st.
Okay.
I'm going to be driving back from vacation, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to. We'll see.
Okay, wait, who just said that? Hold on.
Pam.
Pam.
Oh, Pam, but you can always go on the phone.
I can give it a try.
Give it a try. Okay, fantastic. So I am going to take this recording and I'll send it out to the group. Linda, with your okay, it'll be later this evening. I'm getting ready to leave the house right now. Is that okay?
Yes, and I have a question, Elinor. How do we find it? I mean, how do we get it so people can find these?
Well, that's a great a thought. How about first I'm going to send it out, and then I think if you want, put it up on your website. If you want, put it up on your website.
No, we do want to, yeah.
Okay,
We just have to put,
and put it up on your Facebook page.
oh, on the Facebook page?
Yep.
Really?
Put the link up to your Facebook page if you want people.
Oh, the link, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we'll put it on your website too.
And then, so we can actually put the recording on the website.
You bet. I'm going to send it to you as an MP3.
Uh-huh.
Great. Okay.
So Linda,
Yeah.
I would like to end this with a heart hug.
Oh, I wish I could see you. Yes. Oh, I have no connection. So, Elinor, you'll just have to lead it, and we'll all do it together. This beautiful heart hug, and just with each heart hug, let us send out this deep, deep appreciation to the fact that we have this book by Kahlil Gibran, and that we can refer to it in times of need that so many of us have done. And to the friendship that we all have, I love that chapter on friendship. And the deep love that we have for ourselves, knowing that we are indeed all connected and all divine and connected to all it is, so that it's not a love for the ego self, it's a love for that remarkable connection that we have to all it is. And send gratitude to every cell in our body and every part that perhaps we don't relate to quite as well as we can, with gratitude, sending gratitude. And I want to send gratitude for Elinor for putting us up in Zoom and making this so much fun, and to all of you for coming on, and to all of those who will perhaps tune in and listen, because Simila called us last night from Italy and wanted to be on. It's 2 in the morning, so she's going to listen to afterthought.
After we send the link, that is so wonderful. Oh, I always feel so good after this. Thank you, Linda.
So have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Wonderful to hear your voices.
Aloha.
Bye.
Bye. Elinor?
Yeah.
Can you stay on?
Yep.